Because we're Nigerians, we have our family coming from Nigeria and they'll be like, you live like this in the UK?
The council now lied that we brandish knife. And being black in London, we know what that means. Whenever you say or attribute knife crime to somebody, you're trying to reduce them to a common criminal. And that's what the council did in 2020.
All you could hear is just drops of water.
We've just, decorated this whole place. Look at all the water. Flooring that was just been done and it's just been leaking.
At some point I felt like I was being tortured. We had to be reduced to shower in the bathroom with our mobile phone torchlights because we didn't have any light there for constant 2 years straight. My name is Joyce and this is my husband.
My name is Tunde.
And we are the founders of So Delicious Limited. It's a catering company specializing in Afro-Caribbean food. We're making this video because we want to highlight some things in our personal lives, because there has been some issues that's been going on in our personal lives that we want to bring to the public, especially in the area where we live, because it does involve Southwark Council, the local council where we live. The purpose of us bringing this to the public because it does affect the general public. It has been affecting us for a number of years. It's now affected our business as well.
The issues we're having really is about housing, which really concerns and bothers everyone living in London or in the UK, wherever you live. The issue concerns you. Adequate housing, it's a human right. It's not a privilege that the government gives to you. It's your right to have adequate housing. And we have suffered a lot of injustice at the hands of the London Borough of Southwark. And that's the whole point of this video. This is what we are highlighting with this video, because majority live in council homes and it has to be adequate for the common good of the people.
Some of the general public in London and as well as in Southwark already know some of the issues, not just ourselves. Some people may be aware that there has been numerous cases that's come out from the Housing Ombudsman that's found the council in severe maladministration towards some residents, including us. Our issues has been going on for many years. Currently, we are actually in civil court with the council as litigants in persons against the council, which is the reason why we are bringing this to the public, because where we thought we could be getting justice for all that they've done to us for so many years, the council are actively trying to throw our case out using some means that I don't know whether it's legal or not, but the council, as you know, it is a big council and they have disposable income that they could use to hire so many lawyers and barristers. We're acting as litigants in persons. We do not have a lawyer. We don't have any barrister that's fighting for us. But the council have gone out of their way to use their powers to try to throw our case out of court. Unfortunately, they've not been able to do that. But that is what they are planning to do, which is mainly the reason for this video. The case has been ongoing for some time. We've been able to get it listed and they were served. They didn't respond to the claim. However, they've been able to go behind our backs to get a private hearing with a judge to set a judgment aside that was already awarded to us with false statements that was made by the leader of the council as well as the CEO of the council, false witness statements that were signed. So in courts, we just couldn't get that in front of the judge. This is what they're doing right now towards us. They are actively trying to squash our case as if it never happened. We're reaching out to the public because we're going to need some help and support to try and take on and bring justice, not just to us, but to others who are also affected, because some people are just too scared to take on the council because of the tactics that they use and the victimisation as well, that when you complain or you make an issue, when they've done something to you, and this is just not us complaining of little things. We believe that they are using these tactics against us because we've made several complaints over the years, including what came out recently earlier on this year, the service charge around the area where we live, where we discovered that the council were fraudulently charging residents for service charges that for probably more than 20 years. And it was only until we discovered the evidence to prove such was when they claimed it was an error. However, they have been fighting us on this for the past 4 years, claiming we were supposed to pay. And through that, we've been able to help other people to claim back their monies. They are now actively using tactics to try and claim some of that money back from these residents by going back as far as 20 something years of claiming that they are owing some sort of housing benefit, and that's the reason why they have to pay that money back. These are just one of the many things that the council are doing to residents, and not only just us. So the public really do need to know this and should not be feeling scared. It's taken a lot for us to come out to say this because, we're normally private people, but because, it has adversely affected our lives, our private lives. And I don't want to be living in silence and suffering all of this in silence. And especially as we had gone to court a few weeks ago and realized what they were trying to do, which is literally to destroy us financially.
We've been complaining to the council about poor housing conditions from many years ago. When I say many years ago, we're talking about 2012, 2013 situation. And what the council did over the years was ignore us. So we exercised our rights as British citizens, and we took the council to a criminal court in 2019. So we went to court, and the council settled with us to move us to a suitable accommodation, and they did the opposite. They gave us another bad housing, which has really affected our health and the health of our children. And right now we are back in court to sue the council for poor housing conditions and breach of human rights.
The previous property that we were living in before was so severe in disrepair that it caused myself and the youngest to develop asthma. The youngest one especially was in and out of hospital a few times and always constantly at the doctors, always being sick. Constant leaks from 2012 all the way to 2019 when we eventually left through the legal case that we had in a magistrate court. Whew. It felt like torture, literally. I mean, just imagine you're sleeping and all you could hear is just drops of water. At some point, I felt like I was being tortured. Even after leaving the property into our new one, any little water that I would hear, I would just, the anxiety of having to just hear water and you're just having this fear of, oh my God, leak is coming through again. Because in the previous property, we had leaks in the bathroom, in the hallway, in the toilet, in the living room. In the living room, there was no light in there. I mean, when we look at pictures, when we keep looking at pictures from years ago, we just look at pictures that you could see there's no light in your living room space. We had to be reduced to shower in the bathroom with our mobile phone torchlights because we didn't have any light there for constant 2 years straight. The leaks were so bad, it just destroyed all of our furniture in the bathroom. It was just horrible. And the smell, everything was just horrible in that place. We even had visitors visiting us from outside of the country because we're Nigerians. We have our family coming from Nigeria and they'll be like, you live like this in the UK? It was shocking, really. Thankfully, we were able to come out of that property eventually because we had a solicitor then that helped us to fight that case and settled in court. It was just terrible, the property. And now moving into this property, the agreement was that they were going to move us into a suitable property that wouldn't affect our health. But the council didn't do that. And it just seemed since that legal case, we were just met with hostility in anything that we requested from the council. It was just met with hostile responses to the point where we had to complain to the housing ombudsman.
After so many years of complaining to the council about, disrepair, harassment, discrimination, even racism, what the council did in 2020 was to find a way to criminalize us. So they came to our home on the pretense of wanting to do repairs and put
unannounced.
They came into our home unannounced, and because they didn't inform us on time, we didn't allow them to come in, which is our right to do that. But the council now lied that we brandish knife. And being black in London, we know what that means. Whenever you say or attribute knife crime to somebody, you're trying to reduce them to a common criminal. And that's what the council did in 2020. And the ombudsman, the housing ombudsman, have found them guilty of lying, of trying to criminalize our family. They're actually doing what government should not do, trying to criminalize their own citizen for trying to exercise their human rights.
Yeah. When we're saying all of this is not just from what we think or perceive. we did a subject access request with the council when we uncovered the conspiracy between certain officers within the council who were communicating with each other and how and when they were going to call the police and what report they were going to make sure that we go on this their blacklist, which is the potentially violent and aggressive customers list, which is what they put our names on since December 2020 up until to our knowledge now, since we went to court a few weeks ago, June 2022. So we didn't even know that we were still on there. Even after the Housing Ombudsman determination last year, May, they still kept us on that list, even though they didn't do it correctly. There was no proof. We actually had the proof. We provided them this proof during our complaints process, but they ignored it. From December, we actually wrote to them what happened on that day. We had CCTV footage of what happened. Unfortunately, we couldn't include the CCTV footage because the file was too large. However, we did include photos of these contractors that came to our home, and we told them everything that happened, even our own response, because when you're in your house and somebody has come to disturb you in your home, you have every right to defend yourself. So it's not like as if they just came and were, you know, they were rude to us and we were rude back to them, and we told them to leave. And them leaving, they went and made up this lie that we threatened them with knives, and it wasn't a knife. It was a wooden, like a wooden spoon, just because they wouldn't leave our home. We were telling them to leave. There is proof there that there was no knife, and they knew this. And we detailed everything that happened to the council, to these officers within the council that were plotting all of this, and they didn't respond to us at all. Instead, they just shared our information with the contractors that they were calling us criminals on the emails as well. They were discussing all of this on emails. So it's not something that we're just thinking. We have the evidence.
It doesn't matter if you're black, it doesn't matter if you're white, it can affect you because the government, the moment you try to exercise your human rights, they turn around and want to criminalize you. And that's what they do every time. It doesn't matter if it's the local government, it doesn't matter if it's central government, that's what government do. They do not want you to exercise your rights. And that's it. What we're trying to achieve with this video is not your central government where they want you to put your gaze to. Your local government could make your life easy or it could make your life difficult. So we're trying to ally this point for you to be able to stand up for your right. Housing is a human right. It's enshrined in Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of United Nations in 1948. So to have housing is the right of everyone. It doesn't matter if you're white or black or however you identify with. If you stand up for your right, they will try and crush you. Do not give up. Keep on lending your voice. Keep on telling everybody about what's happening. There's an issue of poor housing in London right now. I mean, there's the issue of poor housing in the London Borough of Southwark, and we're trying to highlight it as much as possible with this video. So speak up, speak out.
When Michael Gove said what he said about Southwark Council, about the poor complaints procedure, how they treat their residents, that's what Michael Gove was really talking about residents living in poor housing conditions. You know, there were people that were like, a pregnant lady was left without hot water for a long period of time, and you know, the council did try to criminalize another individual for destroying his kitchen, and he didn't do it. And this is the tactics that they use. I know Michael Gove used that, in my opinion, to gain political points because he's from the Conservative Party. So the council is a Labour-run party. We don't want to be used for any political gains. This is about humans and human rights. This is about everybody being able to exercise their human rights, whatever color you are, because it doesn't matter. We're not trying to get political at all. This is just about human beings and making sure within the local council that you live in, you're able to, as the residents, you should be able to fight for your rights. You should be able to be heard, and you should be able to speak out to say when they've done something wrong. Because we are business owners, I know it's not quite the same as a council. We're used to getting criticism. You know, I must say we don't really get that much, but we have experienced a time when we've received criticism, and sometimes it's not nice to hear. But our first thought, and because of my background from customer service, my first thought is to try to make it right. I don't like to hear that I didn't cook something right, but if the honesty part of me is that, okay, maybe I didn't really make that thing right. I'm really sorry I didn't make it right. Please, can you give me another chance to do it right? This is what local councils should be doing, because it seems like whenever you approach them to say you've not done this, you just get the hostile, who the hell do you think you are? Because we've had even a surveyor come to our home once, our previous home, was looking at the lights where there was water coming through and there was no light there. Oh, you should be quite lucky living in this place. That's what he said to us. I mean, at that time, my husband had to ask him to leave, because what exactly do you mean by that? There's this notion where anyone living in a council property or in a council home are lowlifes. I'm not saying everyone does, but it appears that way because of the treatment that we get, and not because we're black. Is other people as well, because within the council there's other areas that's predominantly Caucasians and they get treated really badly as well. So this is not just about us being black. We obviously get it a little bit more because being black, and it's like, you're black, you're educated, and you know your rights. Who the hell do you think you are? That's the kind of treatment we're getting. And we want everybody, no matter who you are, to be able to exercise these same rights regardless of your educational background. As of now, we have been landed with a bill of over £7,000 from the council because they successfully removed the CEO and the leader of the council from our civil litigation claim because of the false statements that they put in their defense bundle. We've made appeals to the courts anyway regards to the proceedings of that, but we are not very confident that we will get justice because of the tactics that the council are using. So if you would like to support us, we would really appreciate it. And if you could leave anything in our GoFundMe or the crowdfund, we would really appreciate that.